Get in here. Get into this chat. Thumbs up that stream. Let's go. Cool stream. Saturday cool stream. Francis York Morgan intro. Welcome to the cool stream. My name is Hikiko. Thank you so much for joining me for this We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie Super Ultra Deluxe Dub Edition Mambo Tango Foxtrot. Hello, chat. It's been a while since your boy Hikiko has streamed for you. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
I am so sorry it's been so long since I've streamed for you, but this is a very special occasion. This is a remake of one of my favorite games of all time. We Love Katamari. The expectations are high. Who do we got in this chat? We got KH, Bradley Anderson, Anurab Manhata. I got that right. Coda, Piss Baby Granddad. Did you truncate your name? I thought it used to be Piss Baby Granddad Honk. I always look forward to seeing that name. We've got Alexter. Welcome. First time here, Alexter. Threadweaver. Fragile. Hello, everyone. How have you been? Well, before, right up top, we got to plug the new video. I do have a new video. It's PSP upgrades in games. Why you need a PSP in 2023? That name will change annually. Okay, got to stay ahead of the SEO curve here. So we're going to fire this up. This is We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie for the Nintendo Switch. Bought the only copy in my state, I believe. Nobody knew this was coming out, okay? But I'm tuned in to all things Katamari, okay? When a new one comes out, I celebrate, I buy it. I'm a simple man with simple tastes and things. I like Katamari. I love it. You could say, I love Katamari. So, I believe this was 2005 or 6, the original one came out. So, this is almost 20 years later. Ooh. One of my favorite games ever made. Kaida Takahashi's last involvement in this series. He's not involved in this one, as far as I know. He's too busy making games for the Playdate, which I'm still waiting on. I have a Playdate coming in, if you don't know what that is. Start rolling. By the way, things are looking a little different in my cool stream setup here. The chat is kind of basic. It doesn't have all the cool colors. OBS updated to version 29.12, and it broke all my plugins. So I had to fix those before the stream. Hopefully, it's looking okay. It's looking okay. We're somewhat 3D. I'm still in my space here. Let me know if you can hear the game, okay? Let me know if you can hear it. Let me make sure it's piping through. Is there any audio? Can you guys hear the audio? Let me pipe it up a little bit. Alright. You know what? I'm going to take these off because I'm a speaker gamer. Sunshine. Na 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 na. Katamari Damacy. Looks like they upscaled the intro here. And I'm glad that they did that because the original intro is super blurry. I don't know what it is about We Love Katamari, but it just looks blurrier than most games on the PS2. PS2 always had that weird Vaseline filter on things, but it's nice to see this crisp. I believe this is running in 1080p on the Switch. There was a PS5 version of this game. The PS5 version was also $30. This, $30 for a Switch games. You're always paying that Switch tax. And also PS5, $30 game. I believe it was around the same price when it released in 2005, but it's looking good. You have kind of that lovely PBS intro with the piano medley. Looking sharp, looking crisp. So let's hop right into it. No, I disagree. What happens if I disagree here? Why does every game have to give me a Taz? I disagree. What? Oh, it's gonna make me agree to this. A legally binding contract? I thought I was past all this. Sure, just harvest all my data. Agree. What? Is this one of those? Come on. Please. I agree. B? Do I hit X? Y? XXX and the YYY? I'm hitting agree. I agree. X to agree. What? You're killing the stream here. Please just let me play. All right, we're in. I just sold them my soul so I could give you the stream today. Jeez Louise, every game with the Taz. Eula. Okay, it's just you. Everyone can hear? Everyone can hear loud and clear. Good. Give us your soul, Bandai Namco. Alright. Yes. Just let's go into this. So, the story in this one is like a prequel to Katamari. It's before the prince is born. It's about the king of all cosmos' childhood, but then also takes place in the present. It's a prequel, sequel kind of thing. And you also find out about, I guess, the king's father, the grandpa, like the prince's grandpa. We're gonna go ahead and skip this. Looking good here. I can't describe how much I love this game. This is one of my happy place games. We love Katamari, that is. The soundtrack's the best it's ever been. Every single other Katamari game is a derivative of this one. All my friends, they tell me like, oh, I love Beautiful Katamari. I love Katamari Forever, da-da-da-da-da. Listen, you wouldn't have those derivative pieces of trash if it wasn't for We Love Katamari. It laid down the foundation for every high concept that the game ever implemented. The cousins, the presents, all the different like fireballs, snowballs, everything weird and like interesting derived from this game. So this is the world map here. It's a horizontal plane. You kind of scroll across it, and there are kind of loyal subjects, if you will, the humans and the animals. They want you to help fix the world, so I guess they call them the fans. But it's looking good. It looks like they up-res some things. It's a bit, you know, blurry, but yeah, I mean, the original game was very much like this. I don't know if they threw it through, you know, an AI upscaler or something like that. But yeah, this is the world map, and as you do quests, more people will populate on there, and they'll give you multiple quests. And then you can eventually roll up the galaxy. This over here is the rose. There's a million rose challenge. I've done it once. It's like a collective thing. You can roll up 1,000,000 roses, and once you do, something really cool happens. Obviously not going to do that today. Everyone speaks in record scratches. In the bottom left there, you can change the music. So I think you can pop in. I think you have to unlock them though, but you can customize the entire soundtrack. Choose whatever your favorite song is. So this was pretty cool for 2005 standards, and I believe it also was a budget game. I believe it was like $30 to $40, maybe $30, which is interesting because this one was $30, but this is in 2023 Monopoly money, so in the end, the remake, the HD remake with additional content, is cheaper than the original version of the game, because we're dealing with Monopoly inflated USD. Welcome to 2023, Threadweaver. Give us your soul, Bandai Namco. Is my chat delayed here? Sorry if it's delayed. Getting a little technical difficulties, but I don't think it's too bad. That's interesting. If you look at the floor, it's still low res and pixelated. The prince himself is in HD. He doesn't look as cel-shaded as the original, but, I mean, that's a nitpick. Nobody else is streaming this game. Everyone else is still streaming Zelda or Street Fighter, I believe. Okay, so I am playing with the Pro Controller, as you can see down there. Interesting that it recognized that. Some games don't recognize that. So they changed the HUD elements there for that. All the textures you can see on the outside of the ring there, still pixelated. So this is a weird blend of HD and SD. Alright, so if you've never seen a Katamari game, I always try and explain it. The concept itself was made by a madman named Keita Takahashi, who was an art student. And his big art project in college was to take trash, just stuff that people were throwing away, and turn it into art in some kind. He made like a giant hippo he found. He hollowed it out and made it into a tissue box. And he took like an old table and made it into a robot. Just odd things that he would come up with. And he was an intern at Namco back in the day. And he had this concept. He was kind of an ideas guy. He had the concept for like recycling trash and like what are you gonna do with all this trash in the world? We live in a trash society, is what he was trying to say. And so he thought it would be an interesting concept for a game. And he is like one of the most bizarre developers ever. Like he makes a game once every decade at best, and it's the most bizarre game of its generation. So Katamari kind of was a spin on that concept. The Katamari itself is that ball that you see that I'm rolling. It's like a gravitational ball that magnetizes to small objects. And the rules are you have to be as big as the object you're trying to roll up, or bigger. And so you have to gain mass to roll up bigger things. And one of the things right there is like a cousin. I'm what they call the Prince of all cosmos, okay? They make the stars and planetoids in the sky out of these Katamaris. And so the prince is, I believe, 1 centimeter tall for perspective. And he just has the strength inside of him to roll up bigger and bigger things. It gets ridiculous. That guy up top who's speaking in the record scratches, that's the king of all cosmos. That's your father. He uses the royal rainbow to suck up the Katamari. And then he kind of gives you like a breakdown of like what you're going to do with it, right? So I believe in this one, it may be this one, that the king got drunk and destroyed the solar system. So you're trying to like repair it with all this mass. So you like roll up people, objects, and things, and then you destroy them and turn them into planetoids. Yeah, so I can kind of see how they upscaled these textures, and they look a bit oddly smooth. Like if you can see near the king's vest there, it looks a little bit too smooth, but oh well. It's not bad. His face also kind of looks oddly smooth. I like that weird AI smoothness. There's a bit of aliasing near his crown, but you can't see it probably in the stream. So that's it. We made a weird planet. The game kind of builds upon itself in the same manner as the Katamari. Like it slowly progresses. You roll up bigger and bigger things. You make bigger planets. And the goal is to eventually roll up the sun. And so you just have to keep making planets until you can roll up the sun. So, I think this has autosave. In the top left, you can see I've already completed 5% of the game. You can switch between cousins on the fly, so this is Ace. You can also fly up into the sky to the cosmos. I believe this is Tatak. Oh yeah, so you can kind of see the various planets and things that you've made, and there's the sun over there. So that's the weird planet I just made. Anyway, we're going to go back down. I'm trying to like explain all Katamari lore, and it's very confusing for people who've never seen it. Like yes, it's jarring and bizarre, but the concept itself is fairly simple, and I think everyone that I've shown it to has appreciated it in some way. Hey, I am playing the Switch version, Kodai. Hey, what's up, Awesome King? Hey, Kiko, what's the rarest game you own? Maybe Snatcher on the Sega CD or Panic Restaurant on the NES. Yes, either one of those two games. But then again, in terms of rarity and value, those are valuable games. I don't know if they're the rarest game I own, because there's some rare games that only got limited print runs, but they're not necessarily valuable. So, I'd have to check. I've actually documented all the games I have on a sheet online. So we got our first sip of the day. That's a Monster Rehab. A little boomer juice to get that stream going. This is the peach tea. It's got all my B vitamins and stuff. What did you think of Watam, Rumple Foreskin? I got a review of it on my channel. You can check it out. All right, so this is like our first actual mission. In the UI, if you look at the top right corner, it says I got 3 minutes to roll a Katamari 15 centimeters in size. So, the king will kind of chime in with he kind of interjects in the middle of your rolling to make funny observations or irrelevant things, and that's the charm of it. So I am playing on the Switch Pro controller here. One thing introduced in this version of Katamari is the dash, so I can like move the left and right sticks a little bit, and you'll push forward. Now, I did play the original Katamari remake. It's just called Katamari Reroll, and it was pretty good. I think I ran into some collision issues, if I recall correctly, with the Katamari just exploding on impact. Like, I would just lose all the stuff on my Katamari if I ran into certain objects. I think it was a little bit more punishing than what I recalled the original game, but could just be my memory. But I've reviewed a couple of Katamari games up on the channel, or at least included them in my system videos. My more recent video, PSP one, talks about me and my Katamari, which I played for the first time. I'm not a huge fan of how it controls on the PSP, because you have that tiny analog stick and the face buttons to do your rolling. But the game is solid overall. It's got a ton of content, and it came out just after We Love Katamari, so they just packed it to the brim full of content. The only Katamari I haven't played is the one on PS3, Katamari Forever, and people talk that one up all the time, but I just kind of boycotted all the non-Keita Takahashi Katamaris for some time. Anyway, so we've already met our goal. The best part about meeting the goal is you can continue to roll afterwards, and you get bonus points, and you impress the king, and you make a bigger planet in the end, which helps you towards the ultimate goal of rolling up the sun. So, it's okay if you're confused. That's the charm. Yeah, so far it feels like it plays like We Love Katamari. The colors are certainly more vibrant. They're not as fuzzy as they were on the PS2. And I appreciate that. So far, it looks like it's going to be loyal. I'm excited to try out. There's new content on here called Royal... oh no, I hit one more time! Oops! Oh well. That's okay. I didn't mean to hit that. There's new content on here called Royal Reverie. And that's where you play as the King of all Cosmos as a kid. It's the prequel story to Katamari, and I guess there's new challenges. I'm not exactly sure what they are. I've kind of prevented myself from being spoiled, so excited to try that. But once again, the creator had nothing to do with this, so it could just be some phoned-in content that Capcom, or not Capcom, Namco threw in. So it remains to be seen. So far, for $30, it's a really good deal. There are trust me, I don't buy too many games, as much as I did. If I'm gonna drop $70 on something or $60 on something, I gotta know I like it. But for $30, I'm more willing to take some chances. And I feel that outside of the indie scene, that's not really a thing. Alright, so we got Macho, who's one of the cousins, so he'll be selectable after this level. I think I'm doing much better this round anyway, so it's probably worth it that I restarted this. Had a little warm-up session. Hey, oh hi Miles, I literally just watched the PSP 2023 video last night. How was it? Did you like it? Welcome, Ferris. If you would, go leave a comment on that video, do all the stuff, like, comment, whatever you gotta do. Just do it. It certainly helps out. Okay. Those system videos are by far the most successful videos on my channel, so I have more incentive to do them, I guess. And in the long term, they've really helped the channel grow. And that's a hard thing to do in 2023, let me tell you. But I'm very happy we're like closing in on 20K, which is nuts. It wasn't too long ago that I was sitting around 1K. It wasn't too long ago I was sitting around 500 or 100, and I know some of you have been hanging with the channel that long, so once again, always appreciated that you guys show up and turn up to the cool streams and say hi and follow me on all the socials. Follow me on Zangas, follow me on MySpace, follow me on LiveJournal, follow me on Tumblr, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Thanks for following me on everything. Appreciate that. Alright, I think we did a lot better. 23. We're gonna hit yes this time. We're signing up for all these EULAs, and we love Katamari. Oh yeah, Threadweaver, there is a selfie mode in this. I haven't messed with it yet. And look, we unlocked Macho, who's in the bottom right corner. All the cousins have a bit of personality. My favorite is Ichigo, the strawberry-looking one. And they're in the game. I'm not sure if they added some of the other cousins. Each game adds a few more cousins. So we got Munchie Uranus. Come on, Namco. This is an E for everyone game. You really gonna put Munchie Uranus in here? All right, so this is the background story of the King of all Cosmos. These aren't too long, so I'll let it play out. Miso's a good choice, Zach. Yeah, the King of all Cosmos' father, Grandpa Cosmos, I think is his name, is kind of a real jerk. Which, in turn, turns the king into a real jerk. When you lose in this game, it gets terrifying, okay? I should lose a level just to show you what happens. It's horrifying. Alright, so the king is telling you that you've unlocked all the movies. And there's a 2-player mode in here. I'll have to check that out. I think I've only done that once. We've unlocked Macho, so let's switch it up to Macho. There he is. Super buff. Urgh. Good shit. Your Majesty? Alright. Is this PSP version made by the same dev you did a video on? It's made by Namco, but it's not made by Keita Takahashi. This is the Switch version. And it's a remake of the PS2 We Love Katamari, which is the best in the series. Hey, Nar, how's it going? I hope you're having an awesome day, too. Welcome to the cool stream. I hope it's relaxing and you can study to it. Or whatever you're doing. Alright, so we're tidying up the universe. I think we're cleaning up a kid's room in this one. So we're going to hop right in. You can also move the king's head during these loading screens. He spits out random things. So, it's a little odd. If you look off at the right before we get started, see that Daruma right there? That's low res. But my character's high res, and some of the UI elements are high res. It's just entirely random what they've decided to smooth out. So, it's a $30 game. Like, I shouldn't complain so much, but I just find it interesting what executive decisions they made here and there. Oh, there's Lamore. Lamore's kind of a caterpillar heart cousin. Reflexively, I just know this game. It's in my DNA at this point. I played through We Love Katamari probably more than most games in my lifetime. It always puts me in a good mood. Visually, the music, of course, is just so relaxing or fun. And some of the later levels are just really creative, too. It's not a terribly long game from my recollection, but there are a lot of challenges. Like, if you want 100% this game, it is long. And now they've added all this bonus content, so you are definitely going to get your money's worth, hands down. I will be getting Keita's new game. Keita Takahashi, the creator of Katamari. He put out a new game. His most recent game is called Crankin' Time Adventure, and that's on the Playdate. And it's only on the Playdate and nowhere else. So you have to buy the system, the tiny little portable system, in order to play that, because it specifically needs the crank to play. I'll have to show you what the Playdate is. I'm going to make a video on it eventually when it comes in. I don't know when that will be, because I ordered it, like, around this time last year. I think I ordered it in April of 2022, and I still haven't got it. So when I get it, I'll be checking out Keita's new games. He's so bizarre because he will only make a game like once every decade, and it'll just be for a specific platform or just have a specific concept, and it will make no money, but people still love him enough to like give him a chance or fund his games. But I think he just operates under extremely low budgets, and I believe he's still cool with Namco, because in Watam, his I guess more commercial game that he released, the Prince is there and Nobi Nobi Boy's there. So yeah, like I guess he still has somewhat of a working relationship with them. Ray Cortex, my Dreamcast keeps restarting. How do I fix that issue? Well, I'm glad you came here for Dreamcast tech support, Ray Cortex. I'm happy to provide you with Dreamcast tech support. Okay, the real answer to that is your power supply may be failing, and I'd recommend replacing it with what they call the Pico, P-I-C-O-P-S-U. Pico PSU, that's Pico Power Supply Unit. It's a lower draw power supply unit, and it's good if you end up getting an SD card reader, which you should. You should get the GDMU for your Dreamcast. I might have to do a Dreamcast video down the line because I've modded my Dreamcast and did that. So look into the Pico PSU and the GDEMU. I like the contrast of the PS2 style textures combined with the high-res models. Yeah, there's another game that did something like that. It may have just been Katamari Reroll. National Donut Day here yesterday in the USA. Me and my friends couldn't stop spamming image of Brock from Pokemon with the onigiri. Yeah. I believe that was that the 4Kids version of Pokemon? Or something, or the WB Kids one, wherever he made onigiri. I got you. Oh, by the way, while we're at it, get out of my face! Leave that like. It's the least you can do for free content. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Leaving that like. What is this? This is new. The Bamboo Sword of Memory. I believe this is the new content. Should we do the new content? Before we do, I'm going to switch over to the Prince. And then, let's see what presents I got. Oh, I got the big topper. This is the big antenna. It makes his antenna a lot bigger. And whenever you talk to somebody, it switches over the costume. Let's check it out. Oh, enough playtime, Prince. The king of all cosmos has knowledge and strength. The road to the throne is long and hard. If you have time to play, then roll a Katamari. So, experience the king's memories. As you gain access to more memories, you make fans' dreams come true in the secret plaza. So this is like a whole nother plaza? Can I move over? Nope, it's just this one area. So this is it. This is the King of All Cosmos prequel story. Let's do a safety save while we're at it. I believe it does autosave, but no. So we've got study time and the bamboo sword. Okay, well, let's go over to study time, I guess. This is cool. All new content. First, clean your room. Clean your room. Eat a high-protein breakfast. Wash your penis. All right, let's clean it up. It looks like I just did that, but this is interesting. All right, so we're the king of all cosmos as a kid. Dirty room, dirty soul. Chaotic room, chaotic soul. That is intentional. That has to be intentional. It's chaos. Absolute chaos. I only got a minute to clean up? Oh boy. Oh god. I don't think I can clean in an entire minute there. I gotta try. I think I only gotta get to 13 centimeters, I believe. We may have to retry this one. Off to a bad start. Well, I did make it to 13. This is not much for original content here. We're just cleaning a room again, and it looks like they may have just specified or changed up some of the textures of that room I just cleaned, because it looks pretty much the same. But this is... Okay, so he's got the rainbow wallpaper, the king does. Barely passing. The real test starts now. Okay. They didn't even center the king's head inside of his royal rainbow up there. Did that happen? What? Why is the prince here? What's going on? They just didn't want to draw the grandpa? That's enough for today. You still require more education. Use this and strive harder. Okay. The bamboo sword of memory. Does that just take me back? Okay, that was one of the bonus levels. Cool, I guess. Didn't seem like they did much to change things around at all, but oh well, I mean, it's just a bonus, I guess. Are we doing the origami? No problem, Ray. Nar says I should do a Dreamcast modding video. I don't know. Maybe. If I ever do a Dreamcast video, why you need a Dreamcast in 2025 or some shit. Maybe. The XXX and the YYY. So am I rolling up flowers? Okay. That's our objective. You know, the high resolution does make this level pop, and this is one of the more interesting and colorful levels that you can go for. And one of the bonus objectives, like you beat the game, there's the Million Rose Challenge, where it does like a collective total. I think they keep respawning roses, or you have to constantly restart the game and then load your save. But it's like one of those collective achievement things. There's Ichigo, that's my favorite cousin, so we're going to be rolling up Ichigo here in a second when we get big enough. I'm going to be playing as Ichigo the entire rest of the game. I may switch it up to Miso or Dot if there's a request. Yeah, there's flowers on everything around here. I've listened to this soundtrack probably 8,000 times in my life. This is kind of the level that sticks out to me most when I think about this game. Just all the absurd amount of flowers. I just thought that was a really neat idea. Yeah, from this point on, the game just really tries to change up the concept. You do things like build a fire, a giant snowball. You do like underwater levels, space levels. You would think that this would run out of material soon, but no, this is the one that had the most material for its time. And then everything else just kind of copied it. Like all the other Katamari games just were derivatives, and I don't know, not as creative. Like you didn't feel the soul as it were. You know, when people talk about that in video games, the soul, the other ones just didn't have the same soul behind it. So I fell off for a bit. Then I feel like Beautiful Katamari disappointed me, because I did go out and buy it. It was the Xbox 360 exclusive Katamari game. I was so disappointed that they locked some of the levels and cousins behind a paywall. Like, you had to buy the DLC to get them. And I feel that runs counter to the Katamari spirit. Katamari was all about the value. You spent, like, the original Katamari was $20. You got a full game, everything was on there. We love Katamari, even more content. And it was like $30. Beautiful Katamari, I believe, was a $50 game, and then you had to buy an additional $10 worth of DLC. Did not sit well with me. You know, when somebody comes out with a unique concept, never been done before, soulful, and then the big company comes in and says, okay, let's milk it for what it's worth. I think Keita Takahashi was right to leave Namco when he did, because I don't think they would have greenlit a project like Nobi Nobi Boy for sure. I think it took them like 10 years for Nobi Nobi Boy to complete, by the way. Nobi Nobi Boy is probably, arguably, his weirdest project. I don't even know how to describe it. So romantic. Katamari your room. Eat a high-protein breakfast. Wash your penis. Indeed. Rip gnome. Yeah. So if you've never... Like, Katamari has kind of a darker subtext to it if you spend a lot of time trying to analyze it. Like, what happens to all the people and animals that you roll up into the Katamari? Well, they're turned into a giant mass. A planet. Or they're destroyed into stardust. That's the other thing that can happen. I think the bear's guarding something in there. I'm not sure what it is. They added a few new things. There's a selfie mode, and there's other, like, Namco references. I believe Pac-Man's in here somewhere. In the original Katamari games, that you could roll up Pac-Man arcade machines, and I think there was like a Space Invaders reference or two. The best part about this, though, is now I have an HD capture of the Royal Rainbow, so I can use that as a transition in my videos sometime. I did that in my PSP video. I did a little Royal Rainbow for Keita Takahashi. I'm not sure that was noticed by many people, but it is there. Bianca Violin, long time no see. I remember going into the second PS2 Katamari blind with a friend. We were crying, laughing so hard. That's awesome. Yeah, I showed a friend. I had a friend who wasn't really into like Japanese culture or anime or whatever. They had like no idea what a Katamari was, and we went into it. I played it with him, and he walked like, at first he was just like very hesitant to try it out, and I was like, look, all you do is play with these two sticks and you just roll things up, and that dude wouldn't put the controller down. Okay, he hogged that game for at least 4 hours, but I was happy that he enjoyed it. Those are the moments I look forward to most. Like, that is the essence of Hikikomori Media, is to get more Japanese games in the hands of normies if I can. That's my goal. We got another backstory of the king. And now we got my favorite cousin right there. Right here. The best cousin. So I only got one present, but this is Ichigo. A lot of people like Miso, though. And I like Miso's... there's a bunch of like concept art for this game, and they did one like where Miso was the focus of it, and I think they're all like bathing in soup or something. This one's a 6-minute level, so it looks like we're gonna be going through phases. So this is probably gonna be a rather large Katamari. But if you got a Switch, try and get you a physical copy of this game. This is something that you want to play on the go. I mean, it's probably cool on the PS5. It's in 4K or whatever. But that's kind of the antithesis of what I think about it with Katamari. Like, these, I'm sort of glad that they kept the low-res textures and everything and kept that simple style to it, because that is the essence of the Katamari series. When you start going in 4K and HDR, you've lost the plot. Katamari was the original simple series game. Katamari, I could just go on and on about this game, but I love it. And there's everyone that talks about like what are the essential games in the canon of all video games, and I would certainly say Katamari has earned its place in that world. Let me retry this. I like to retry when I just don't get a good vibe about a level. All right. Here we go. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to Katamari, but I like to get... I think the beginning is the most important... like, a good start is the most important thing about a level. There's a couple of cousins in this one, too. Okay, so we just upped a phase. That's going to be happening a lot. The thing is, whenever you grow larger in size really quickly, it will lock you out of certain parts of the level, and it does change up the objects within the level, too. So it kind of phases out the old stuff and then puts in new stuff. Really interesting way of progressing things. I don't know else how to describe it other than that. And now he's a hardcore otaku, my friend. I don't know. I don't know what he's up to. Hopefully still playing Katamari. But this is like one of those common bonds kind of thing. Like if anyone who's played a Katamari game, you're on the same wavelength. You're the audience for Hikikomori Media if you like Katamari. If you don't, you're just not going to get what I aim to do. Thankfully, like, I've never met a person who who outright hates Katamari. I think they appreciate it on some level, if not for the weirdness. Like, if your dad walked in the room, saw you playing Katamari, he may have a few questions for you, but but I think he could get down with it for sure. Like, my grandpa was a gamer, and he just loved the NES. He used to play Mario Bros. And a few fishing games, the Super Mario 2 and everything like that. And he would occasionally just, like, you know, check out whatever I was playing. Like, he'd ask me, like, what's going on in video games and stuff. And I think this, if he were still alive, I guarantee I could get him to try this one out. I did show somebody recently me and my Katamari because I had my PSP Go on me, and the PSP Go in itself is just such a cute little handheld that when you pop it out, like, people start asking you, like, what is that? Is that a phone? Like, no, it's not a phone. It's a PSP Go. Well, what do you do on it? I was like, you just play games. You just play games. Like, they made stuff like that? It's not a phone? And then I just showed them, like, here, this is a game called Katamari. They're like, I think I heard of that. Like, Markiplier played that. I'm like, I'm sure he did. Now you need to play it. I forget, like, what the world is like in video games right now. A lot of people, yeah, they experience games vicariously, just like you're doing right now on the Cool Stream. Like, they've never played Katamari. Their only exposure to it is, like, their favorite streamer playing it, which I guess is fine in a sense. But I always try and emphasize, play it yourself. Don't miss out. You know, don't turn your nose up at it. Don't say, oh, it's too weird, it's too hard, I won't understand it. Just the process of discovery and doing things on your own organically always outweighs, I think, watching somebody play it. And for $30, not that I'm trying to shill this game for Namco and do their dirty work, but I would say it's worth the entry price here. There are a few games that I would outright say it's worth, but for $30, you're going to get a lot of addictive content, and on the Switch too. Like, it's a good conversation piece. You bust this game out, everyone's going to have questions for you. And there's nothing else like it. Katamari kind of belongs to its own genre. And I don't think it has many copycats at all. Not that I'm aware of. It's certainly been parodied in like the Simpsons game. You ever play that The Simpsons game that came out in like 2013 or something, around the same time as the movie? There is a Katamari-like level where Homer has to eat a bunch of food and grow fat. It's also been parodied in a cartoon. I think it was God, what fucking Cartoon Network show was that? You guys know in chat what it was? Yeah, it's worth it for the soundtrack. just you know, I think that you can just straight up listen to the soundtrack by itself. So if you don't even like playing games, you get a full-on high-quality soundtrack that you'll listen to for the rest of your life. You think maybe Keita Takahashi will come back to this series ever? He's probably going to have like a really good idea. That's the kind of guy he is. My mom couldn't get into Katamari. Well, make her play it again. Just keep playing. You gotta train them, okay? You gotta train them moms to play Katamari. Then you can bond over it forever. Can't decide whether to go to Switch or PS5 for this Katamari remaster. PlayStation stick layout feels right for Katamari. I heard the DualSense haptics, but portability of Switch is nice too. Well, I'm playing right here on the Pro controller. I mean, that's kind of the highest quality controller you can buy for the Switch, and it feels nice. The portability wins it over, in my opinion. HD graphics. It's 1080p. That's good enough for Katamari. It's, in fact, extra credit. This is a 480p, 240p kind of game. I don't really care about haptics at all. The DualSense 5, I think it's just a big battery waster. I'm not a fan of charging controllers all the time, and that's a controller that constantly dies. It just doesn't appeal to me. But the bowstring. Remember the bowstring, Miles? Remember how when you draw a bowstring, you can feel the tension? In every single PlayStation exclusive game? About 10 of them? You can pull the bowstring? I'm sorry, guys. I'm not dogging you if you're impressed by that, but it takes a lot more to me. Like, I find that stuff distracting to the overall gameplay experience. Get it in a portable manner, because Sony's not going to do it. They're not going to give you the Vita 2. The Switch is right there for you. This is a game you can just play in small bursts. You don't need a big screen to do it, okay? You don't need to be playing in a big movie theater projector setup, okay? You can play this on the tiniest screen, and it's just as quality and fun. Okay, so this is what they call the fake-out ending. The king of all cosmos has challenged you to roll up the sun, and it's so early in the game that you don't have enough stars or planets, stars and planets, to roll up the sun. It's just improbable. So this is just to kind of prime you for what the overall objective is. It's like the mid-boss, okay, that you can't beat. You can roll up stars, constellations, and other things, but we're going to go ahead and die. And you'll see as you go closer to the sun, your Katamari just shrinks and you burn. Fake out. Isn't haptics just vibration? I find that annoying and always turn it off. Yeah, that's about it. I think the only cool game that I was sort of impressed by it was Ghostwire Tokyo, where they had the raindrops. And I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. I'm going to turn this off so I can have 4 more hours of battery life. Okay, so we got a couple of ones. We can do the underwater. We can do the fire. So I'm going to... Hey, thanks so much for the super chat. We got Randy Fairbanks in there. Real question from Ferris Nagatomi. Real question, which game would you recommend to play first? Resonance of Fate or The Last Remnant? Personally, I like The Last Remnant more. The Last Remnant was, I believe, made by the Saga team. Saga Frontier. And it kind of has like a similar vibe to it, but it's like more big military. Read up on it. Read up on how to play. It is not easy. The enemies scale with your level, so you can really paint yourself into a corner with that one. All right, let's put out a poll. Well, we'll let the chat decide. I'll take this opportunity to read some stuff, so throw out some questions. Rumpleforeskin says, the only game that really impressed me with the haptics was that Astro's Playroom level where you can feel the rain pattern. Yeah, same thing. Astro's Playroom is... The Astro games are always kind of a tech demo-y sensation. I like every Astro game. Astro's probably the most interesting series, like the equivalent to Mario on the PlayStation. If you have a PlayStation VR, the one game I always recommend is Astrobot Rescue Mission. That game is up there with Super Mario Odyssey, yet it has none of the promotion, which sucks because it's one of the best action platformers I've ever played in my life. In my life! Good stuff. All right, I'm going to give another minute here to this poll. Looks like water. We got some wet boys in here. Water seems to be the one. Water has it. Bianca Violin says, Vita Katamari is tough. I tried to fetch some trophies, but it was too hard for me and needs daily check-ins. Oh, really? Isn't that Touch My Katamari? The one with the sussy name? Alright. Water has it. Water has it. I like this level. There's some fishermen in there that will get you caught on the line, and they'll pull you up to the surface. I think this also has a decent song to it. All those hearts. Glug Glug Underwater. Wowee is an amazing place. We got 6 minutes. That's plenty time. In HD, though, the sense of scale does feel larger. The original game was in 4:3, and it didn't have this field of view, for sure. So, I wonder what the later levels are going to be like in terms of scale. Like, will they really zoom out the level as much? But looking good so far. I believe the present is above the water, though. And I'm not sure which cousin's in this level. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. Whoa! Yeah, this one doesn't have the most interesting concept. It's just underwater. But I do I do appreciate that they attempted just about every video game trope you can think of. I mean, there's no sewer level, but who wants that anyways? Speaking of sewer levels, I heard that, what is it, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Afterbirth, whatever's coming out in December still. The Chapter 2 to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was not expecting it to be that close to Final Fantasy 16. So I wonder how much faith they have in 16. Like, I've heard little to nothing about 16, but I haven't actively sought out information. I am planning on getting it later, or when it launches, at least. There's rumors going around, but I mean, like, the rumors are, of course, 4chan, so you have to take them with a grain of salt, that Square is bracing that this game's going to be a failure or whatever, but I don't know. Like, can you think of the last Final Fantasy game that didn't sell at least 1 million units? I can't. Maybe Lightning Returns or something? But at least the mainline ones all seem to do fairly well. As much as people trashed on 15, it's one of my favorites in the franchise. I'm not trying to have a contrarian take. I really love Final Fantasy 15. It had its problems, sure, but it's not... It really isn't as bad as people made it out to be. It's one of those cases where I feel the 15 experience is better appreciated once you kind of like play all the supplementary things. You know, Kingsglaive, kind of a dumb movie, but Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15, the fishing game, one of the best spin-offs I've ever played. So I like the boys, I like the road trip aspect of it. I was always a fan of like the more contemporary, modern Final Fantasies. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Ivalice, and this new one seems to be more like the Ivalice line of things. It's whatever. I'm gonna give it a chance, and not just instantly shit on it. I don't know. I've always found like Square Enix fans to be some of the worst fan base. Just RPG fans in general are hard to talk to, hard to engage in a discussion, because like they document every single nitpick, or when they start going into plots like, well, they should have done this or that or this or that. I'm like, I think you're missing the forest for the trees kind of situation. I'm not a huge fan of what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake story, like how they added some like Nomura, Kingdom Hearts, Time Ghost kind of things in there, but I'm not gonna come out on a limb and say it's so terrible by any stretch. I still had a lot of fun with it. I try not to like let the story be the defining element that makes a game great or terrible. I made the mistake the other day of going on NeoGAF because I was like trying to get a feel for how people viewed the third birthday, Parasite Eve: The Third Birthday. I opened my video game segment in my last video talking about how I like that game. I would go to say I love that game, and I remember just everyone trashing on it and nitpicking the plot and saying like, they just completely ruined Aya, they completely ruined the Parasite Eve. Hey, there's Pac-Man right there. How do I selfie this? How do I selfie? Oh, rumble off. Where's that selfie button? Okay, well, I'll have to figure out that selfie button because I found Pac-Man. So people are trashing on Parasite Eve: The Third Birthday, and it was all like plot and story related, but it's obvious. Like the most obvious thing that it's a spin-off game. It was 10 years after Parasite Eve 2. It didn't have Parasite Eve as the leading tagline or the leading name within it. It's the third birthday. It deals with time travel. Obviously, a spin-off kind of game, non-canonical, what have you. And I feel that many people who hated the story didn't play through the game and get the true ending, or at least hear it out, or go into the minutia. Like, they read a plot synopsis that somebody on NeoGAF shat out with vitriol behind the words, and then just came to their own conclusion that the plot sounded so ridiculous that they would never play it. And I feel that kind of does a disservice to like one of the best games in the PSP library. Best looking for sure. The amount of complexity within the third birthday and how you can build your character and evolve your weapons and manage your troops and all that, all the stuff you can unlock, all the additional difficulties. There's so much hidden content. So much hidden content in that game. I just feel like a lot of people don't bother to give a game a chance or learn it, for one. It's something you can observe within video game reviews or what have you, like how far somebody actually progressed before they laid criticism upon it. And certainly in the context of 2010, oh, I love this level. Certainly in the context of 2010, there were more people that probably played a game, and this is sad, for like maybe 2 hours at max, and then just wrote up a whole bullshit review. And back in the day, like, you didn't have to do your due diligence. You could fake it. You could throw in some screenshots, write a diatribe, and call it a review. But nobody ever says, like, how much did they play to completion? Did they see it through? Like, if you had problems with the story, did you at least try and get to the end to see if, you know, the ending justifies the entire experience? And the third birthday, you do have to beat it twice to get the true ending, and I feel that it really does add something special to the whole experience. And the fan theories, or the way they contextualize the ending, I don't know. They make it sound a lot creepier than it truly is. So, I just didn't have a problem with the story whatsoever. I was excited that my favorite franchise was getting another chance 10 years later. And I feel kind of the same way with Silent Hill. I'm always going to have Silent Hill 1 through 4 and Shattered Memories to look fondly on. And I think it's okay for other developers to take a chance on it. It's just never going to live up. You just got to kind of accept that it's never going to live up to people's insane expectations to begin with. And like I just feel that way about every franchise. There's always going to be those ardent gatekeepers that try and scare you away from trying something new or having somebody else take a crack at it. I don't think it ruins the originals, in my opinion. When spin-off games or remakes come out, we're in a remake society, whether we like it or not. It's just the easiest way to get something greenlit, unfortunately. I was reading an interview with Sam Barlow, the creator of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and all the stuff he had to do to even get a Silent Hill game greenlit because Konami really didn't have faith in the franchise too much. Like, the movies, sadly, were the inciting incident or whatever, the catalyst for the Silent Hill Origins to get greenlit and Shattered Memories and all that. If it wasn't for those damn movies, we probably wouldn't be looking at any more Silent Hill games. They, as sad as it is to say, they're most people's frame of reference for what Silent Hill is, and they brought them back into the mainstream, if you will, to a point where I guess Konami had enough faith to try and make a few more games. So that's kind of what we're running into right now with the Silent Hill franchises. We got like a new movie coming out and 5 games. This new Silent Hill Telltale Ascension game. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I understand like how popular those interactive story games are. And you kind of have like more of a mainstream appeal Silent Hill experience where you don't need to be good at games to play it. It's just an interactive story. And I guess they say it the marketing on it is a little shaky. They say like whatever choices that all the collective players do in Silent Hill Ascension is going to determine Silent Hill canon. And people are like, oh, that's all Silent Hill canon. I feel no, it's probably limited to just Ascension. It determines what the true outcome of that game is. So, doesn't really bother me. I don't know what's going on with Townfall or Silent Hill F. I hope they're still in development, but I'm still waiting on news for Silent Hill Remake 2. Or Silent Hill 2 Remake. It is the second remake, if we want to split hairs. But it's my most anticipated game for this year. I do want to make a big video on it. I'm just waiting on news, really. Just waiting on news. Fragile says, Hikiko, you should do a long, in-depth review of Silent Hill 2 before the remake. Why? Fragile? Hasn't that been done to death? Haven't you heard enough monotonous, monotone people reading off Wikipedia and giving the same old takes about the psychological drama of James Sunderland, Horny Man, Deluxe? Like, it's the same old shit. Like, what else? The game is really not all that deep to analyze to begin with. It's very self-explanatory. The characters' motivations are quite understood, and because it's so baseline in its surrealism, it's appreciated by the masses and the pseudo-intellectuals that think that they have some esoteric knowledge that nobody else has discovered about Silent Hill 2, or I have a new perspective on Silent Hill 2 that nobody else has. Nobody has it. It's been done to death, overanalyzed on the GameFAQs message board for the better part of 2 decades, okay? I like the game. It's not my favorite in the franchise. It's my first pseudo-intellectual video essay. Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. Now, will I reference the original game in the remake review? Certainly. Goes without saying. Am I going to get up in arms that it's not same game? It's not same game. They changed thing here. Dialogue different. James is showing emotion. They added a dodge. Why did they add a dodge? You know, it's the same. Why? Why? Why do we got to be that way on every single fucking remake ever, forever? Sorry that time is marching forward, David Young. You can't change the past. It's the same shit. It's tired, and like you already know the video. This is the way I look at modern video game analysis when it comes to remakes. The guys out there have already decided to hate it. It's already hated. It's persona non grata, and they've already written their video essays of what everything's wrong about it. Like the scripts are already written years before the game comes out, okay? They know what they're gonna hate about it, and you're gonna get that breathless sigh, like, how dare they? How dare the Round Eyes take over the franchise? Like, that's what you get every time. Every time. Western dev bad. And I fell into that trap. I feel like that's like a shitty way to live in general. To like have a cloud over your head and just hate things before you've given them the benefit of the doubt. And you got a dead franchise that's got nothing going on for it right now. Would you rather it be dead and not have a chance to grow and reach a new audience? How many times can you play Silent Hill 2 PC HD over and over again, and just I'm content with the same thing over and over again? It's not. No. I'm not gonna live that way. You live whatever way you want, but it's gotta stop sometime. The well has been poisoned. The fan base has been certainly divided for 2 decades, and as I mentioned in my PSP video, like there's certainly a collective group of Silent Hill fans that have just watched YouTube videos and never experienced anything on their own. And they are the ones that I feel are dictating the discourse in the community, and it's fucking bizarre to admit that, but it's true. $5 from Ferris Nagatone. I can't love some of my friends that much because they're only experienced Silent Hill 2 and 3 via that HD remaster collection. Okay, I would say that is an okay take to have. If that's the only way you've experienced them, then that's probably the worst way to go about it. On the PS3, I think the PS3 one may perform worse than the 360 HD version. Yeah. I would say there is a wrong way to experience the series, and that HD collection is probably the wrong way. I would say play on a CRT 4.3, maybe PS2, headphones on, dark room. That's the way to go about it. Go in as blind as possible, but I don't know if that is possible anymore. Like, Silent Hill 2 is probably the most spoiled game of all time. I don't know if it's possible to go into older games blind anymore. Even thumbnails spoil everything on YouTube. Like, how would you organically discover Silent Hill 2 in the modern age if not for YouTube and have it spoiled for you? Not to say that, like, you know, I had the superior experience or what have you, but I played Silent Hill 2 in middle school before YouTube existed, on a CRT by myself, terrified every single moment. So that's an experience I don't think I can recapture if I wanted to, okay? The first time is very magical, and you almost need a time machine to truly understand, the context of why it was so scary. But maybe people are still scared by it. I don't know. There have been so many psychological horror games that are derivatives of Silent Hill 2. It seems like Silent Hill 2 is the basis in which every single horror game models itself after in some way. That I mentioned it in my Silent Hill 2 remake. I hope they change it up. I hope they throw in some sort of big twist or add more content, add some new scenes, something to that remake, because I don't want the same exact thing, okay? Like, don't bring the same exact meatloaf to the table and reheat it. They do that. Like, who are you trying to please in that scenario? Like, the original fans, the OG fans, probably aren't going to like it no matter what you do with it. And, like, maybe you're better off taking a risk and trying something new than rehashing the exact same thing. The original Silent Hill 2 is not that long either. I think it's like 4 hours. Because I recently went through it on the PC HD remake or whatever. The Enhanced Edition is what they call it. And I enjoyed the experience, but I just recall thinking, like, oh, this is really short, and the puzzles are really dependent on knowing which doors unlock. Like, it's very much lock-and-key puzzles. There's a few clever ones in there, like the noose and the one where you have to open that door handle by melting a wax figure and a horseshoe and stuff like that. Like the prison levels, kind of clever, but the majority of Silent Hill 2's puzzles are get key, open locked door. So, I hope they kind of change it up somewhat in that regard. I don't know if that kind of gameplay, somebody had mentioned it in my last video, but they said what they liked about Shattered Memories is that there's not as many locked doors. I mean, there are locked doors, but not hundreds of thousands. There's other types of puzzles and interactions with the world that they appreciated. And I feel the same way. We're at 3 meters already. Gonna see if I can hunt down the cousin or the present. World-renowned Geohound. Hey, HM! How are you, world-renowned Geohound? Thank you so much for joining us today. Will you do Swery's Oculus Quest game, says Alex. Alex, I'm glad you asked that. My buddy Kirk, friend of the channel, best actor on the channel, my buddy Kirk has an Oculus Quest VR, and I don't. And I asked him yesterday if I could borrow it, and he said yes. And he's pretty excited for a Swery VR Danganronpa Resident Evil 7/21 kind of game. It is very much a, I don't know, Swery, I don't know what to say about it other than it looks very derivative, which is in Swery's wheelhouse to copy an existing idea and sometimes put a twist on it. So far, my impressions of, I think it's called Death Game Hotel, is Swery's newest game. It's a VR game for the Oculus, so instantly it's already a niche market. So I don't know that many Swery fans are the type that have VR. I have PSVR. That's the only VR device I have. So he's not releasing it for that as far as I know. So I'll have to borrow that from Kirk. But I don't know why Swery's afraid of success. I don't know why he's afraid of, like, expanding the market. Every time he puts out a game, it's for some very, very limited market. And he seems to have been obsessed with developing for VR for, God, 5 years now. He's been working on VR development. So maybe he has some neat ideas to bring to the death game genre. It would be interesting to see Swery scenarios for a Danganronpa game, because Danganronpa is one of the darkest games around. So if this is truly going to be a mature-rated adult VR death game, then yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. There's 2 versions of that Death Game Hotel trailer. If you go on White Owl's YouTube channel, there's an uncensored version of it, and it's gory. Like, there's decapitated limbs and real blood, and kind of gives you, I guess, a better feel of what he's going for. Surprisingly, this new death game is not Hotel Barcelona. I'd like to know more about that, and I'm hoping there's the Devolver Digital Showcase coming up in a week. And Suda, a Grasshopper, has something to announce. I really hope it's Hotel Barcelona. But it's a Swery game, so I gotta make a Swery files. It's one of those things that I know when I make a video on it, nobody's probably gonna watch it because it's VR. In the past, when I've made a VR type video, just nobody likes to watch VR footage for whatever reason. Maybe it's the motion sickness thing. So that'll happen, I guess, in a year's time. World-renowned G-Hound says, genuine question, not saying I care or anything. I'm a fan of both of you. Curious, I sense you have serious issues with Twin Purse Silent Hill takes. I do love the work they've done, but I love yours too. Anyways, yeah, I was going to ask if there's any truth to that, and if so, elaborate. I'm not a crazy fanboy either way. Great creators are great creators. Gamers can love whatever they like. Just curious. Everyone asks me about TP. I'm obviously influenced by TP's editing style, and I really enjoyed their videos back in the day. There's a bunch of drama with them. Like, I'm not involved. Like, I don't know anybody on YouTube kind of like that in a personal way, so I don't know them personally. But I was a big fan back during the day when all the drama and the fallout ensued. And I think they helped kind of cultivate, and I would say in myself, a general hatred for the Western series, and I want to say a toxic outlook on, I don't know, anyone giving Silent Hill a chance. Like, you can You can look at former developers of the Western games, like notably Tom Hewlett, and how much shit he had to like go through because of the real Silent Hill experience. And I'm not a fan of pinning the blame all on one person. Like it takes many cooks, if you will, and many different facets of game development that we're unaware of. Publishers, producers, the big companies that are funding the game come in, step in, and change up things, or a game gets started off on the wrong foot, like Silent Hill Origins started off as one thing that entirely missed the mark and then had to be stopped mid-development and redeveloped, in a limited amount of time and fashion. I feel like the Silent Hill experience is very one-sided in its approach, if that's fair to say. And I think in retrospect, time kind of told the bigger picture of what happened behind the scenes, and especially at Konami in general, and how little faith they were definitely pivoting away from video game development. And I don't think Tom Hewlett himself deserved all that shit. Now they're trying to do it with Sam Barlow, and Sam Barlow has made some fantastic narrative-driven games. His work speaks for itself. I've always been of the mind, like one of the first videos I made, kind of, that's a nod to TP, is my Silent Hill Shattered Memories video. And I feel like I've been very consistent on my point that it's always been an enjoyable game, and that it's just unfairly, looked at. In general, I don't find myself to be as close-minded as a gamer as I used to be. Because I was right there in the camp of, like, hating the Western-developed Silent Hill games, and they do have their problems, and I'm not giving them a pass to be contrarian or whatever. I recently went through Downpour. I made a whole retrospective on that. It kind of captures my initial opinions on it and how my opinions have kind of evolved over time. And I think when you dig your heels in on something and just be like completely cynical, you just you're depriving yourself of seeing the good things in life and seeing the silver linings to even a bad thing. And I feel Hikikomori media is about finding the silver linings in things that people normally pass up. And I would say that includes the Western Silent Hill games. I've given all of them a second chance now, and I feel the only truly bad one is Book of Memories. Like, the truly unforgivable one would be Book of Memories. It's just a cash grab any way you look at it. And no, I don't hate Twin Perfect. I like their editing style. Roster and Fungo were really a good team back in the day. They had some really personal drama that spilled out into the public, and I don't know the full story. Like, it was hard to take a side back in the day because nobody really knows what happened besides those two, and they had a big fallout, and it was really nasty for a bit, and some serious accusations were levied around, and I really don't know what happened. Anything that you look up about, like, the old Twin Perfect fallout, like, I can give you, like, a general rundown of it from what I remember. It was like one party felt the other party wasn't pulling their fair weight when it came to editing, writing, and contributing to the project. And it seemed like you have two very visionary kind of YouTube creators that have, two different work styles. And when it comes to running a channel, especially when you're going to do something that's as high quality, I think personalities are going to come out, feelings are going to get hurt, and what have you. And they blew up. Like, they were the premier source for Silent Hill content back in the day. Nobody else was doing that. And now there's like 1,000 derivative, like, Reddit NPCs that fucking rehash their points verbatim, just given the whole thing. And I like them because they were trying to I guess, create like a Silent Hill Bible, if you will. They were trying to objectively look at what factual information they could derive from a surrealist work and then, contextualize of why the Western games were bad based on the Japanese doctrine. You know how it goes. It was interesting for that. And I was a much younger dude back when I watched their stuff, and I felt they were very entertaining. I liked their sardonic wit about them, and they had a good relationship, Fungo and Rossiter did. And you don't often have like too many duos that can work together, and that's why I feel it didn't kind of ultimately pan out. And there was, I guess, a woman drama involved. Not saying the woman's at fault. What I'm saying is like there was a girl, a love triangle, a tale as old as time kind of going on. And once again, I don't know all the details of that, so I'm not really going to speculate any further. There were some serious allegations thrown out there at the time, and it caused like a big line in the sand for all that. So not only were the Silent Hill fans kind of divided at that point based on their videos, but then Twin Perfect was also divided between like Rossiter v Fungo. And I would say Fungo went on to make like Dark Souls and Souls lore kind of videos, and he's well respected inside that community because he's still like he's a great editor in and of himself. But I don't know what happened. I don't think he makes those videos. Like he's kind of scaled back on YouTube. I feel Twin Perfect also, they make a video like once every year or so they kind of scaled back. It's sad, the whole situation. Egos get in the way, feelings get hurt. It's not why I don't work with anybody, but when you're a content creator, the only person you can truly count on who wants to do all the work is you. Like, nobody really wants to edit shit or do, film skits or do wild things. It's a big ask of anyone, of any relationship you have in your life, to like get involved in the madness that is content production. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy, some of the long edits I've done. Yeah, that's my quote-unquote, look how awful this water is. Talking about Silent Hill HD Collection. Look how awful that water is. Holy shit. The upscaling on that is off. For sure. Hopefully they address that. Or it's just in line with Katamari. But, I'm going to tell you how it is. As a content creator, collaborations on any project you care about, if you care about it enough, know that in the end, you may end up doing 100% of the work at the end, okay? And you're lucky to get like 5 to 10% out of anyone you collaborate with, or, people will ghost you. Like more recently, I had somebody ask me to work on them with a video, and they're a pretty big content creator, but, I'd throw out my ideas, or I'd edit something for them, like a concept, and they wouldn't get back to me, or their feedback would be very vague, and it's kind of hard to meet in the minds when you're not physically around the other person. Like when you're around somebody and you're riffing on things and shooting the shit, it's a lot easier, but remotely not easy to do. And I'm not against collaborations. I just always feel awkward about it, because my ideas, like, they make sense in my mind, but I often have a hard time communicating either my sense of humor or how I see a scene playing out or how I want to structure something. And I've had some awful collaborations in the past. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but longtime Hikikomori Media people know some of the terrible voice work and shit I've done for other creators. I don't know. I feel I'm a team player, and I get excited about working on collaborations, but it's hard to take what I'm doing and make it make sense in another context, if that makes sense. Hey, Hot Jam, nice shirt. What are my favorite horror films? I'm a big drive-in guy. If you're part of my Discord, you know that. You're part of the drive-in family. We watched the last drive-in together. I love Joe Bob. Met him a few times. Big inspiration. One of the biggest inspirations. He's that kind of guy he was like the original finding a silver lining in the esoteric weird stuff, the driving kind of films. And if it wasn't for Joe Bob, I certainly wouldn't be here today. I love all sorts of horror. You could get me talking about horror for fucking hours, so I'll spare you. One of my favorites, Return of the Living Dead. Classic. Return of the Living Dead is something I quote often, and I feel is a really good comedy. It's genuinely scary in parts because the trioxin zombies in Return of the Living Dead are like indestructible. They do have a weakness established in 2, but they're indestructible, independent limbs, eat the brains. They establish the eating the brains thing. It's punk rock, and the dialogue is really snappy and funny. I think that also inspired Edgar Wright too, for Shaun of the Dead, another one. But I would say Return of the Living Dead's one of my favorites for sure. But there's like Tremors, and I got in an argument the other day with somebody about fucking Tremors. They were trying to say Tremors wasn't a horror movie, and they were wrong in their opinion, and I had to let them know. I'm just kidding. Tremors is a great franchise. 4 great movies in that one. I like some more like abstract weird stuff too. A lot of Lynch films would cross over into horror. Anyway, you get to get me going on all day, so I'm not going to go on that tangent. Hey, we got 30 people in here. Let me leave you a little reminder. Since we got 30 people, do me a solid. Leave that like! Leave that like! Get out of my face. I appreciate you, though. We're still playing this. Hopefully, I think I've unlocked some new Royal Reverie. Oh, shit. Running out of time. Running out of time. And I got nothing to roll up. Oh, this is looking bad. We're going to have our first failure of the stream. But that's okay. I kind of want to show you the failure. Because the failure's funny in and of itself. Ah, looking bad, mate. Can we get it? In the clutch. Nope. All right, so this is actually a good thing. We're going to spin this L into a W. Do you even know the principle of Katamari Damacy? Players young and old, male and female, regardless of race, country, or creed, can have a rolling fun time. Thrills and chills, laughs and giggles, guffaws and chuckles. Wow, this game is fun. Okay, I'll try harder tomorrow. That's the principle, but you're messing it up from the start. You're the one rolling it, so try to understanding it better. Silly little Ichigo. Yeah, the king just murders you. That is the game over. He berates you, and he murders you. That's the spirit. Thank you so much, guys. You would make a great collab from Joe from GameSec. If he would ever watch my channel or say hello to me, or if I could even have like a 1-frame cameo, I would totally take it. I'd drive my ass out to Colorado or Denver. I think he lives in Denver. I would totally do it. I don't know that Joe would do that. I don't think he's collaborated with your retro gamer crew. I think he's like done Happy Console Gamer and what is it? That guy from Mad TV. He's had some interesting cameos on the channel, and I don't think I'm of that same caliber. I'm not cut from the same cloth. Like he's an old school retro gamer diehard that knows his shit, and I'm just a poser. So I'm just like diet GameSec, if anything. So I don't know if that collab will ever happen, but if it does, I'd be down for it. I would totally be down for it. I love that channel. In fact, The sad part is I had a GameSack shirt that I actually got from Joe. I went up to Portland one year, and I met Joe and Dave, and I was really nervous. And I just said, hey, what's up? I'd like to get one of those shirts. And I got a shirt, and then that was it. The funny thing was, though, they were in front of this giant angry video game nerd movie van. There's a van inside that James drove inside the movie. It has like this giant wrap on the side that says cockburn. There's like this big flaming cock on this van. So Joe and Dave were stationed in front of a giant van that said cockburn on it. And I got a black GameSack shirt. And I wore that fucking thing for, I want to say, 6 years or so. And it had holes in it, and it had to be retired, unfortunately. I need to buy another one. Support the GameSack crew. Oh, sorry, you the Hack the Movies fan? If so, you should totally reach out to the guy. I know of Hack the Movies. I think the guy who runs Hack the Movies has appeared on a few podcasts I've listened to. God, what's his name? I'm not trying to like big time or anything. I know they do a lot of movie reviews and podcasts and stuff. What's his name? Because he always like introduces himself as blank from Hack the Movies, but I've totally spaced. But yeah, I don't know that I would ever, like, once again, guys, you gotta tape your expectations. Old Hikiko here is a bottom rung Z-list YouTuber, if anything. None of these people know what Hikikomori Media is. I don't think I'm ever gonna be invited on any podcast with clout. I'm not gonna be on any big YouTuber's channel ever. I just don't think they know anything about my channel at all. Oh, Tony from Hack the Movies. That's right. Yeah, I mean, if they want to have me on, I probably wouldn't say no to most collaborations. Not to say I'm desperate, but yeah, if people invite me, that's how that goes. I could talk some horror movies for sure. I think they had Joe Bob on at least once. I know James did at some point. Hello, friends. Hello, Yoko. Hikiko, have you tried any of the newer Simple Series games? The bass fishing? I haven't tried the bass fishing, but that sounds pretty good. It has to have "the" in the title to be an official Simple Series game. Although in my last video, I did discover Deadhead Fred is a Simple Series game because D3 published it over there. So, interesting little fact. I think it's too high quality to be a Simple Series game. Rides the line. If those are out of the realm of reason, could we get a Hikiko Cross Irate Game collab? See, the only way the Irate Gamer collabs with you is if you are an 80s horror or an 80s action star on Cameo. If you're on Cameo, you're guaranteed to get an Irate Gamer collab going down. I think that's his style. I guess I would. I'd be like, oh, hi, Chris. Irate Gamer's an OG, okay? He's old YouTube. He's a legend in his own right. God, if you ever... Irate Gamer had like one of the most savage quotes I've ever heard about the whole Jew Wario situation. I don't know, I can't remember it verbatim, but I think the Irate Gamer is a big Christian, and he said like irate game, or he said that Jew Wario is burning in hell because he took his own life, and that and I wouldn't say that's like the top reason why Jew Wario's burning in hell, but it's certainly in the top 3. I don't know how you reconcile that, because I also know Irate Gamer's like a big ghost hunter guy. So he fully believes in the paranormal. He believes spirits roam the earth and, like, you know, leave ectoplasm and can be read by a PKE meter. He believes like the Ghostbusters line of ghosts in the physical realm. But he is also like a pretty big Christian at the same time. Like, how do you reconcile both of those things? I don't know. I'm not gonna judge him for it, but goddamn. I know too much lore about this side of the internet, if you will. I've been around a long time, folks. I've seen it all. I've seen it all go down. But I'm just not going to find myself in a YouTube E-Celeb boxing match anytime soon, okay? I'm just going to keep to myself. I find, you know, you get your best work done if you just stay in your own lane. But the best work comes out when you stay in your own lane. Hey, Smeem Boy, good to see ya. Came to say hi again. Did you know about Hikikomori when he made the PSP video? Yes, I did. I just tried to limit myself to about 25 PSP games. So yeah, a lot of people came out like, why didn't you put in Patapon? Why didn't you put Loco Roco? It's like, well, I had 20 games to share, and I wanted to like get some deeper cuts in there, and then some throwbacks to old HM. Like I included Work Time Fun in the Bad Man games, Metal Gear Acid. You always leave yourself room to make another video. Like, I can return to these system videos and then just like make more recommended games for X system, but wanted to have a good balance of things, and that's often hard to do. Like, yeah, because everyone has a favorite, everyone has nostalgic memories for a particular game, and when you're dealing with like a large library, it's very hard to cut something that's like in a reasonable time frame. Because if I kept adding games, you guys got to realize, like, if you keep adding games, you're just gonna end up like not everyone's gonna watch it all the way through, and you're not leaving yourself enough room to explore it down the road. Okay. The curations bit of making a video like that is really hard to decide, like, what's gonna be in, what's not. But yes, I'm aware of Hikikomori. You name it on the PSP, I've certainly played it, or at least given it a chance at some point. But if it came down to sharing Hikikomori or Yakuza Black Panther that was recently translated, had to go for the more mainstream one in that scenario. My goal was definitely to share some of the more recent translations too, because not many people know that the PSP has like one of the best active translation scenes for sure. Hey KH, can you keep this stream up, Hikiko? Love the cool streams. Yeah, I'll probably keep this one up. I'll probably keep it up for about a week, and then it'll be in the cool stream playlist. So if you ever wonder where these cool streams go, they'll be in the cool stream playlist. Just to keep things tidy. And I don't like to overshadow my own content. You know, I only put out a video like monthly, so I don't want to like bury my content, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Cool streams aren't for everyone. Live streaming content isn't for everyone. Always think it's better to get the word about obscure, lesser-known games that need attention than ones that everyone knows about already. That's the way I approach it. I think the most mainstream game that I reviewed in that was Metal Gear Peace Walker, but my goal was to kind of like point out the weird transfarring bit of that. Kojima Productions always did something unique with the system that they operated on, so just wanted to point that out. I don't think we're going to get this one, folks. Maybe. I don't think we're going to get... We got to get to 12 meters in a real short window of time. Well, we'll try a different level, though. I'm going to try one of the King's, the Royal Reverie levels. Anyway, yeah, that's just kind of the process. Because I learned a lesson when I made my Wii video. My Wii video has 50 games. And not many people watched it from beginning to end. And I looked at all the system videos I did. And the most successful one was the Wii U one by far. And that's because I only put about 20 games in there, I think. Something along those lines. All right, so we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna see if there's any more of those king levels. We're gonna make some Stardust. Yeah, whenever you do 50 games, either you have the diehards that'll watch the entire thing through, which is appreciated. But I would say for, like, that video in itself is like 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's a big ask, if you ask me. That's a big ask. Oh, this is the snowman one. Of anyone to dedicate that amount of time. But I got it all out there. I can't say I didn't put everything I had into that video. So, okay, I already did that one. Looks to me that I haven't unlocked a new one yet, so we'll just move on. That's a big ask for anyone to sit down and watch 2.5 hours, sometimes even like a 1.5 hour in this modern age. Oh, we're going to do the fire one. I love this level. My editing style is very much in the old school of thought. Like, if you got something to say or you got something to share, take your time with it. Get it all out there. Maybe your only chance to do it. And when I made these system videos, like, that's I can cover a lot of ground in that amount of time. And for whatever reason, people watch them and they enjoy them. It's bizarre to think, but sometimes when I go deeper into analysis on things, or I just do a basic game review, it's just not enough to get new people involved or watching stuff. So when I make these system videos, it's like trying to get a new audience to give my other stuff a chance, if that makes sense. So, you know, a little bit of a honey dick situation. But nothing wrong with doing that every once in a while. I think my audience is split 4 ways. There's people that like this system retrospectives. There's people that like the C-bomb / emulation / preservation thing, right? So that's one category. There's the sweary files people. They just watch the sweary files, and then there's some people that tune in for my grasshopper stuff. So, I don't know. It's hard to please all 4 audiences. Like, I mean, I could just go one road, specialize in one form of content, but if I did that, I feel I would get burnt out pretty quickly. So, the objective of this level is to get things to build a bonfire at the top of the hill. So I have to get fuel for my Katamari and make this big flaming ball of fire and then deliver it to the top of the stage. And then burn everyone and everything in my path. So, happy times. But I'm real excited. This past year has been a rather big growth year for the channel. A lot of people have just resonated with my system retrospectives, and I feel they're fairly evergreen in terms of rewatchability. Not to go into all this insider baseball shit, but if you want to know what I'm thinking in terms of what to do for the channel, I've been wanting to grow the channel for some time and get more consistent viewers and more comments and all that sort of thing. I live for the comments. I live for people that come in and tell me that they tried a new game because of a video I put out, or that they have a particular favorite and stuff. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not expecting to make like a financial success out of the channel. Mostly I just want people to find and discover new games and talk about them, and maybe one day like somebody watches one of my videos, tries a game, gets inspired by that game, and then goes out and makes the next great game that I end up enjoying or something like that. I've had a few developers of the games I've reviewed tell me that they've appreciated my videos on it. I've had some developers that are like, oh, you like the same kind of games, or you introduced me to this game. That's kind of cool every time that happens. Oh no, don't want to get the water canteens. They can't, if you get like a fire extinguisher, it will put out your flame. Oh my gosh. Okay, Rumple Foreskin with the 10 pounds or 10 euros. Thank you so much. Here's a thanks for your excellent PSP video. I dug out my old PSP Go after watching. Sadly, had some stuck pixels, but I got a great screen replacement on Amazon. Plus, there's new IPS mod for OG PSP. Oh, yeah. We got FK in the coffee. Clear as a crisp spring morning. Thank you so much, Rumple. Those IPS screens, I was thinking about putting a segment about replacing them, but they do take a lot of time to replace, and you gotta have steady hands. I did replace my PSP 3000 with an IPS screen, and the difference is staggering. But ultimately, I wouldn't recommend doing it because it's not for amateurs to replace, and at that point, get a PS Vita, because the PS Vita is always going to have the superior screen in terms of like accurate colors and pixel density. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad I inspired that. I don't know how hard it is to replace a PSP Go screen, but I imagine it's a nightmare. The battery's easy to replace and the memory card's easy to upgrade. But PSP Go is like my new fucking favorite handheld. I don't know what to say other than I was really impressed when it arrived. I will warn you, a word of caution when buying those PSP Go's, they are all scratched to shit. Every place I looked at, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, eBay, all of them are scuffed because people just straight up put them in their pockets with loose change and their keys and their meth pipes, all scratching it to shit and back. So finding a PSP Go in decent condition where the screen isn't scratched or the body isn't scuffed up is like worth its weight in gold. So if you are looking to buy one, ask the seller to take a photo in the fine light. Like, have them take it at different angles so you can see if it's all scratched up, because it is so common to find one in bad condition. But it's a decent handheld. And it, like some guy in there in the comments like, Vita better. I'm like, yes, I did say that in my video. Vita is better. Vita is life. And I recommended, like, you know, play it on a Vita, play it on a PSP, play it on a PPSSPP, play it on your phone, whatever. I don't really care. You know, personally, the PSP Go is my favorite way to play those old kind of games. It's just super nifty, and it's a cute little device. But there's things I like about the original model. It's got thicker buttons. When it comes to playing rhythm games like Guitar Man, I'd rather play on a 1000 than a Go. So yeah, everything has the, its positives, its negatives, whatever. And then a lot of people requested I should make a video on the PS Vita. Maybe not this year, but certainly. It'll certainly happen. I don't want to just, run those kind of videos too close together. I'm trying to, wrap up the 7th gen. And if I make a DS video, which seems like the logical next step in that progression, the DS video is going to be a fucking nightmare to capture everything. People don't realize how many orientations the DS, the Nintendo DS presented, and various ways to play. Oh my god. It's going to just be a nightmare to capture and edit. And you think that the PSP library has a lot of games. The DS has an absurd amount of games. And I love so many DS games. I may have played more DS games than PSP back in the day. So I am more familiar with the library there. But golly. I think that's a Patreon incentive. If I ever, I think, reach $200 or something on my Patreon, or $500, I would certainly do it. But it would just take a lot of time. It'd probably be the hardest video I'd ever have to edit. Yeah. Honestly, in the modern era, I play a lot of my DS games on the Wii U. Because I played through Flower, Sun, and Rain on the Wii U. Because it's got the touchpad and stylus and everything you need right there. But emulating stuff like the 3DS and the DS, you need the tactile response of the stylus and the touchscreen. I don't think the mouse in itself is an adequate replacement for the experience. All those people that tell me that the Steam Deck just does it all and the Steam Deck's the way to play, I just don't think that's the entire story. It's not necessarily the truth, because first of all, a lot of those emulators aren't perfect. You'll run it, it doesn't play the full library. There's some odd nuances to DS games that you have to account for. There's certain games like Trace Memory that utilizes every gimmick or feature of the DS. It's not the same. And I'm not a purist saying oh, you gotta play on original hardware. But you kind of do if you want the authentic way to experience a game. To get in the mindset of the developer. They didn't account for the DS emulators. They didn't account for the Steam Deck or what have you. And I would say more often than not, you're going to run in PPSSPP. You really don't understand it till you've toggled and messed around with it. There's a lot of fine-tuning that goes into trying to make sure a game works on the PSP and making sure it doesn't look like there's a supersized smooth filter over it and all that crap. It's a lot of homework. And for someone like me, I don't necessarily mind it. But for the average user out there, they're probably just going to get frustrated and say, well, fuck, I can't play this game. Can't solve this puzzle, I feel it's short-sighted just to say, it's the end-all, be-all. I play a lot of my PSP games on my Xbox, believe it or not. I played through a lot of the Third Birthday on my Xbox Series X, so I'm not against it. But that game's kind of more modern in a sense. It's easier to adapt. Alright, well, we've already met the goal of this level, so all this stuff is just bonus. The water looks a bit better than that other level. I don't know what was going on with the texture. Zero people are playing this game. They're all playing... unfortunately, this had the consequence of coming out right around Tears of the Kingdom, which is just dominating every space. I was the only dude who ran into my GameStop looking for this game specifically by name. They had one copy. I think in a 50-mile radius, they had one copy for the Switch. Musicology. Picked up the Deadhead Fred from your video. I completely forgot about it. Yeah. Deadhead Fred, I like it, but it's not fun to play. It's certainly up my alley, though. And, it's a huge game. Huge game. I have it on Vita as well. If they had, like, worked on HD, they were gonna get an HD port of it, which would have incorporated dual analog sticks and made the game a lot better. I don't know why people, like, made... specifically PSP exclusive games. A lot of developers had good sense to also make a PS2 variant. So. Gabe, what do you think of the 3DS? I like it. I'm an ambassador. I got the ambassador certificate. Bought it at launch. It also has like one of those really bizarre libraries. God, when the 3DS eShop shut down, there are so many games that unless you hack your 3DS, you're just never going to get to experience. There was this collection called Guild 1, which had like Liberation Maiden, Attack of the Friday Monsters, and there was a Weapon Shot de Omase. Fantastic little system. But I think Nintendo, it was a case where Nintendo capitulated. Just like the Wii U, it just feels like that whole era, Nintendo capitulated to people that didn't want to give their concepts a chance. Like, they leaned into the 3D aspects for maybe the first couple of years and then just said, let's get a 2DS out there. There are people who are just not going to adopt this concept. This is my favorite song of any Katamari song. So in this, the objective here is to get mass gains. Mass gains for the sumo. Become the biggest sumo wrestler. So you're rolling this dude around and getting him all those delicious calories, okay? This is what your boy Hikiko does. Your boy Hikiko eats 4 times a day and tries to count his calories and get big. It's hard for me. It's very hard. God, this is like the best song in the whole series. I just love it. I think this is one of those levels that sealed the deal for me on like this is one of the greatest games ever made. And then the Simpsons game stole the concept for this level. I think Homer goes through like the land of chocolate and honey or something. Like a candy level, and you have to eat all the candy and get big. All that Kewpie mayonnaise. Gotta get it all. Oh no! Just keep on rolling. Gizmo! What's up, Gizmo Hibiki? I'll read your comment in a second. I'm like real pressed for time on this. Alright, let me pause here. If they aren't going to use the 3D, they could just buy a 3DS. 2DS is the most pointless downgrading console ever, right besides the Wii Mini. They don't want to use the 3D, don't use it simple. The Wii Mini is probably the most pathetic console ever. I was shocked that it existed. Like, I had never seen one. When I made my video, I had never seen one up close and personal. I bought it for, I think, $40 from someone locally. And I was just, like, going through all the specifications of it. It's like, oh, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, it doesn't do this. It doesn't play GameCube games. I'm like, why? Why? Why would they remove all this stuff? I just, I think it was, like, bigger in Canadian markets or something. I think there are certain games you could just outright couldn't play on the Wii Mini. We're gonna go get one of the cousins here in a second. This is fantastic. You know, everything I love about We Love Katamari is here. It's worth the price. Try and get a physical copy if you can. Just from my own limited experience here, I don't think this is going to be a high print run for some reason. It'll probably do better on the digital markets. You'll see it on sale forever. I think it's like $25 if you do choose to get it digitally. Somebody in my Discord said that they got it. But for the most part, everyone forgot this was coming out. Well, I don't think I can get him. We gotta go throw some salt. Alright, I'm gonna go around the perimeter real quick before I go. Give myself like a 15-second buffer. Okay. Alright. Alright. Boom! Got him. 148 kilograms. I could have certainly done better, but it's good enough to pass. Okay. The glasses free 3D on the 3DS still impresses me to this day. Yeah, I wish they would have ported Metal Gear Acid 2 to the 3DS. It would have been the perfect transition there. Playing with the solid eye is something else, that's for sure. Yoko, speaking of Wii, your opinions on Baroque? Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've never played Baroque. I know that it exists on the Sega Saturn. I don't think I've ever played it. I was playing, like, during the time Baroque came out, I was playing more the Disgaea series and all the NIS adjacent games. Gizmo says, on Wii Mini, you couldn't play GameCube, period, and could not use GameCube controllers with the games compatible with them. Right. All right, we'll do another level here. We're approaching, where are we in the stream? Almost 2.5 hours. I will go ahead and do this level. We'll wrap things up. Your boy Hikiko's got to get a chicken sandwich or something from Wendy's, okay? So help me out. I need to get a spicy chicken sandwich because this is the point in the stream where I'm just getting so fucking hungry. When I stream, I do a lot of talking, and there's nothing else that makes me hungrier. Smeem Boy says we're getting Metal Gear 1, 2, 3 on modern consoles, but not Peace Walker, unfortunately. Well, Peace Walker is available on the Series X right now, so you can do it. If you still have a PS3, you can play Peace Walker. 360, any of the Xbox series can play it. And never say never. I believe they're doing 2 volumes. They're gonna do like Metal Gear 1 through 3. Perhaps they may do Metal Gear 4. It remains to be seen. That's what I'd get the most excited for if they did Metal Gear 4 as part of any combination. But as it stands, you gotta have a PS3 or emulate it, I guess. But it's still a good reason to have a PS3. It still looks and plays fantastically. And just have a PS3. Can you just have a PS3? I'd say it's a worthy investment. You can probably get one real cheap. You can probably get a PS3 for $50 if you look locally. So we're getting friends for the doggy. And friends are just like any animal or human. Or bug, I believe. This song's kind of interesting. All the songs in the game are some sort of reprise of the original Katamari theme song, and this one they just used animal noises for the track. Getting all those friends. If only it were this easy in real life to amass friendships. Somebody says, I really hope Metal Gear 4 breaks free from the PS3. I really don't know. That's not one that I would predict. I know people have a lot of high hopes for Konami and stuff, but that's probably going to be the most difficult task of them all. Because Metal Gear 4 uses a lot of system exclusive features for the PS3. It may just have to be its own disc with completely uncompressed audio files and all that. They would have to tweak all the 6-axis stuff and remove all the references to like the PSP, and unless of course they make it like a PlayStation 5 exclusive or something. It's not gonna be an easy job. And I believe that game also contains a lot of copyrighted music, so yeah. Too much of a mess. But I love me Metal Gear 4. It's certainly in my top favorites. That was a big deal when it came out. I don't even know how to describe it. That was the anchor game. This is the power of the PlayStation 3. It was Metal Gear Solid 4. I do recall, before getting Metal Gear Solid 4, I think they released that database, the Metal Gear database. It was an application you could get for your PS3, and it went into every fucking term, every character, every bit of lore you could imagine for Metal Gear. And I went through that all one evening, just to prime myself for it. Well, can we round it out to at least 100 friends? Alright, we got it. Yeah, let's get up there, get up there, get up there. Alright, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Okay, let's see if we can get... The guy up top, I don't think I can get yet. We're gonna find out. Nah, he too big. Hey, what's up, Jackie? Good to see you. The database is so cool because it unlocks stuff with your Metal Gear Solid 4 save. I don't remember what it unlocked. Metal Gear 4 just had so many interesting little quirks about it. The Boktai references. Kojima really was proud of Boktai. Drinking that Monster Energy drink was a mistake, folks. I'm tripping balls on all the amount of caffeine I had today, so I really gotta settle down after the stream. Your old pal Hikiko's getting old. I'm starting to see like a big mass of animals rolled up into a gravitational ball. I'm tripping. Okay, can we get 200? Let's get there. We're at 183. I don't think the draw distance has improved at all. I think it's just about the same as it was on PS2. Which is fine. Not a problem. Okay, we got over 206 friends. How many more do you need? Really? Okay, can we get big old Kong up top? I don't know if I can climb that in time. The physics on here are not the best, if you couldn't tell. They're very particular. I don't think I can do it. Nope. Sorry, folks. We can't get old Kong. I need to drink some water. I'm sweating here. I'm sweating up a storm. It's hot in my office. Summer's rolling in. Okay, well, there you have it. About a 2.5 hour cool stream. I'm gonna leave this up for about a week, so say hi, whatever, in the comments down below if you're watching the archive. This will be in the cool stream playlist. I hope you were able to study for college or work on a game development like that one guy said. I would recommend this. We love Katamari plus Royal Reverie Reroll, whatever. It's a good game. Faithful. A bit weird in some of the HD resolutions, yeah. But not a bad game. It's a good value. All right. Wrapping things up. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Hands in chat. Goodbye. Goodbye.